welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how I turned this cube into this wallpaper. But first, big shout out and thank you to the members of the channel for the month of November. Your support helps me to continue to make videos on this channel, so I really appreciate it. So big shout out. If you want to become a member, click the join button and you can get access to all wallpapers and a ton of perks. So the first thing I do in this process is grab my graphic tablet and draw a background. I also get a lot of reference images, just kind of remembering what a penguin looks like, and then did like a 3D quick sketch of what I kind of wanted the penguins to look like, or an idea. And then I jump in to just making this sketch. I usually don't show this part because I'm not very good at 2D drawing or anything. I am working on it and getting a little better, but I do need to dedicate more time to getting better at it. But I thought this sketch overall was they're at least getting better in me conveying my idea on paper, and then being able to make it, well, not on paper, but you know what I mean, like convey the idea to myself. So this basically quick digital image I made basically was my guideline for the 3D, and I think it worked out okay. It is what it is, but it did at least have a way for me to get my idea to myself. So that will stay at the bottom, and I will start in Blender making everything. So I turn the square to a circle. It's the first thing I do, and then began starting with kind of the hills, snow hills, to kind of get a layout for the scene. These were done with very bad, like they're ripping the geometry and stuff, but you know, they're background things, so I wasn't too concerned with them. And then I began making trees, and again, you can see the hills are so rough, but it was just to kind of get a rough block out of where things needed to go, and then I would refine as I go along. So I made the trees, and I thought having a little like top slope a little bit like that, or droop, would look really cute. So I decided to do that with all the trees, and then started with the cabin. And I knew I was going to do something new with this wallpaper and use something, an add-on that basically generates snow in Blender, so I didn't have to manually make the snow myself for every single item it would fall on. So that whole part of the video actually is very short because generating the snow kept crashing my computer because I think I just made all the shapes a bit too complex. So some of them, like the trees for example, really had a hard time with the snow, but we'll get there. But I kind of thought with the droopy tree, the snow would look really cool on it. So that was my goal in making them droopy. I just thought it would look cooler and more stylized. So after the cabin was kind of roughly finished, I roughed in the snowman, which I thought looked really cute at the end, and just gave him like a little carrot nose and stuff. I love making snowmen in the snow, and I always want there to be enough snow to make a really good snowman. My brother actually made a giant, like 6-foot snowman last year, and he got pretty creepy being out in front. It was pretty big, but I just love snowmen. And then I also decided to make an igloo, which they didn't turn out exactly how I wanted, and I did skip that process because I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't sure how to execute that in my head, or like in Blender. I wasn't sure how to make it up to look nice. So they're there, and I think they turned out okay. But yeah, then sledding or tobogganing, depending on where you are, what you call it. I call it tobogganing. But yeah, we like to go tobogganing a lot as well in the winter time. And so I was like, these penguins have to go tobogganing. They have to do all my favorite winter activities. And then I did the bushes, which were just very rounded. That's kind of how I sketched them out. And they were just going to kind of line up the areas where the hills met other hills, if that makes sense, like the little slopes, kind of make those a little more interesting. So I added a bit more than I did draw in the 3D work. And then I started adding small things like signs, just working a lot on the outdoor items first before adding in any of the penguins. They were some of the last things I kind of added in, and then worked around them, adding a few more items after. But I wanted the sign to be a little interesting in its shape. And then I used the same kind of way I made the bushes with the fire. And I think the fire looks so cute. I almost wish it was closer so you guys could see it better in the wallpaper. But I think it looks really cute in the end. And I knew I wanted to have like a just like in the drawing, like a penguin back here fishing, kind of making up dinner. Maybe for when all the penguins get back from their snow games and stuff. I don't know. But I did use the same geometry technique with as you can see right now with the fishing pole, they're called vertices, each of those dots. So making that, getting that technique down even better, really happy that I've learned it and I'm getting better at using it. I think it worked well in this wallpaper at least. And then after the background was kind of in place to a degree, I do make a lot of changes later. It was time for the penguins, and they're so cute. I think they turned out really good. I did bring up, as you can see, my little penguin while I was trying to, my little test penguin. I wanted them to have fur, but sometimes when I add a lot of fur to a scene, my computer, it could be the way I'm doing it because I don't know actually the proper way to do it. It kind of crashes my computer, it crashes Blender, so I wasn't sure if they'd have fur or not at this point. But the rough shape of that first penguin, after doing research on how people usually draw penguins or go about even making them in 3D, or what they even look like obviously in real life, I wanted to kind of get these certain elements of that and put them into my penguin. So very round. I think they just look super cute when they're very round, and they have the slope kind of shape for their heads. It just looks really cute. And then I definitely wanted to put hats and scarves and mitts on them. I think the clothes on them make them look absolutely so adorable. And I'm really, really happy with how they each turned out. So I kind of just kept copy pasting and making them smaller or larger. Some of them have little hairs. It's really adorable. I think they all look really cute. And I did want them to vary in shape. So some are a little maybe more slender and long than the other ones. And that translates to the children. I think I just made small and round because they just look so cute. All of them are like the same, just with different clothes. But yeah, so I had kind of started adding them in after I gave them all their little clothing and the little gloves and stuff. I thought they just looked so adorable. I kind of tried to fix some of the coloring and stuff at this point once the penguins were in place, but not necessarily stylized yet. They were all just kind of standing very kind of ominously, arms at the sides, but I just needed the background to get the colors in so I could really start seeing the scene come to life and then know what it did and didn't need. I did cut out the sun. I decided just having trees in the back would make it look more interesting. I did use like a glass kind of texture for the igloo since it's supposed to be ice, so kind of worked with that, and then just started giving the penguins color, and I think that really just brought them to life. Like, they look so adorable. I did end up giving them fur, but I don't think you can see it very well. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what I did wrong. I'm still learning how to do that, but they are all fuzzy. All of them are fuzzy. So this did crash a lot while I was working with it at one point, and I think that's totally my fault in the way that I made them. They had too much, basically, geometry on the little squares, and that mesh is what it's called that you see. They had too much of that, and I think it just, along with the snow, as you can see I'm generating right now, I'm just literally clicking and generating, as you can see. So the cabin generated perfectly, but as you can see, the tree here, I'm kind of resizing. They kind of didn't work, and I don't know if it's just because I didn't do the geometry right for the trees. They just didn't look great. So yeah, I fast forward, tried to do some lighting. This project took a very long time. I had 6 hours of footage, and then there were some hours of footage I just didn't use because the video would be quite long, but got the lighting down, added a little them eating fish and stuff, and there we go. So yeah, that was the wallpaper. It was a quick kind of explanation, but I really want to start using Blender 4, which is the newer Blender, and make it next month because I think it's going to be really cute if I can pull it off. Thank you so much for watching, and have sweet dreams.